if Joe Biden lost to Donald Trump in the 2020 election. And welcome back to the channel. Let's talk politics. In this video, I'm gonna be showing you guys the advantages Joe Biden and Democrats have in the 2024 presidential election, and same with Donald Trump. Advantages Donald Trump and the Republicans have in the 2024 presidential election based on battleground states. You know, where they have advantages in certain states. Do you guys agree with me that if Joe Biden lost, because I personally think if Joe Biden lost in 2020, the Democrats would be in a better position than they are right now. Because since Joe Biden won, how he's doing as president is horrible, and made the Democrats look horrible, literally. He made the Democrats look horrible. So do you guys agree with me? So let's get started. First, let's start off with the southern states. So basically, who has the advantages with the southern states? Honestly, for most of these southern states, including Arizona, Texas, Florida, kind of Florida, I guess that's a southern state, more on the east, bottom east, you should say. Yeah, Florida is a southern state. Arizona, Texas, Florida, those kind of southern states, I think the Republicans have advantages in most of those southern states, like Arizona, Texas, and Florida. Battleground southern states, which is what I'm saying. And the reason why is because of the border crisis and how Joe Biden handled the border. He completely opened it up, and the U.S. is now receiving more COVID cases because, I say this a lot, the U.S. is receiving more COVID cases because that Joe Biden opened up the border, especially in those southern states. Because since he opened up the border, the migrants coming in are coming in with COVID cases, and they're bringing their COVID cases to us, which is making Joe Biden look bad because COVID cases are on a rise with the Biden administration because of opening up the border, which is going to affect the southern states, and which is why Donald Trump has the advantage in the southern states, because the rise of COVID cases leading to because the opening of the border leading to the rise of COVID cases, which gives Donald Trump the advantage, because they wouldn't want someone like Joe Biden to give them more COVID cases. And also, they're having a spike of crime because of the immigrants at the border. So that's another advantage for the Republicans and Donald Trump in the southern states like Arizona, Texas, and somewhat of Florida. Not only because of more COVID cases because of opening up the border, but opening up the border also leads to what? Leads to a spike in crime. A spike in crime. We're having, more just crime overall, anything. Homicides, whatever, home problems between these families coming from the border, kidnappers, traffickers, just more crime in general. Crime spikes are high. COVID cases are high. And overall, who has these, Donald Trump overall has the advantage in the southern states. Joe Biden at this point doesn't have any advantage. I can't think of one advantage Joe Biden has in the southern states. Oh yeah, I do have one advantage, just one. It is that since he opened up the border, those people coming in from Mexico into the U.S. from the border are going to vote Democrat. A lot of them are. And the reason why is because Joe Biden opened up the border, and since Joe Biden up the border, they like Joe Biden for opening up the border for them, and they're going to vote for him because he let them in. But with Donald Trump, they're not going to vote for him because Donald Trump did not let them come in a legal way. You know what I'm saying? Donald Trump let people come, obviously, but not in a legal way. Joe Biden is doing it in an illegal way. And they're going to like that, especially the illegals. The illegals are going to vote for Biden because he let them in. And they're not even supposed to be in here, coming in an illegal way. There has to be a pathway. With Joe Biden, there is no pathway. And they're going to like him for that. And they're going to vote for him. So Texas, it's going to be slightly shifting to the left because migrants will be voting Democrat, and that's what the Democrats' plan is. They want the migrants to vote Democrat, so they're going to treat them very good, and they even put them in 5-star hotels. So they're spoiling these people who aren't even supposed to be here across the southern border. And like I mentioned earlier, Republicans also had advantages because of this spike in crime and the spike in COVID cases. So Joe Biden has one advantage: the migrants. A lot of them will be voting Democrat because he let them in freely. Basically, not even freely. They had to get in here in a dangerous way. But Donald Trump has two advantages: one, spike in crime, and another, COVID cases, a rise in COVID cases. So now we got the southern states out of the way. And by the way, the states that are going to be filled, the states that I fill in red are going to be the states that Donald Trump has. Overall, Donald Trump has more better advantages, and the states that are going to be filled in blue are the states that Joe Biden has better advantages in. So in Texas, most of the southern states, Donald Trump has better advantages in. Even though they both had advantages, Donald Trump has better advantages that will do him better. So Texas, Donald Trump has overall better advantages, even though Joe Biden still does. Donald Trump just has better advantages. Same with Arizona, and same with Florida. Florida's already shifting to the right anyways. Having Ron DeSantis as his vice president could do him even better in Florida. And we're going to move on to... we're not going to go over all the battleground states. Just like Nevada, we're not going to be going over like this. The states in the middle of the U.S., the battleground states in the middle of the U.S., like Iowa and not really Nevada, but I'm going to include Nevada and states like those. We're not going to be going over them. Just the states on the border of the U.S., like the southern states, like the very bottom, like those bottom southern states, like Arizona, Texas. And states like Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania, the Rust Belt states as well, because they're on the the outside part of the U.S. We're just going to be going over the perimeter around the U.S. Those kind of states. I'm sure you guys know what I mean by that. So we're going to move on with the Rust Belt states, including Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. So first of all, let's start with Minnesota. Minnesota, Joe Biden has the advantage, and the reason why is because one, Republicans are leaving and fleeing the state because of the BLM takeover. They don't want to live in that hell anymore. BLM is burning their town, basically. They're even going to the suburbs. They were even protesting in the suburbs. And I know BLM is all over. Well, it's not really over because it's all for show. They just want BLM to happen for Donald Trump to get kicked out and lose. It's all for show, obviously. And because of that, Republicans are leaving because they don't want to live in that hell anymore, hellhole, whatever you want to call it. And also, the rise of BLM has caused basically a socialist state. I don't really want to call it a socialist state. Basically, BLM has taken over the people, causing a big Democrat advantage. BLM just overall made Minnesota extremely shift to the left just because of BLM, and it's all because of BLM. So there's not even really that much. There's no advantage. I can't think of one advantage that the Republicans have in Minnesota. What? Nothing. Democrats have advantages. Republicans flee the state because of the BLM takeover, and overall, BLM made Minnesota turn extremely left for some reason. So yeah, the rise of BLM made Minnesota go left. Not saying Republicans, can't make it close. I mean, they could very well make it close, but there's a high chance that any Democrat, like even the weakest Democrats, will win Minnesota. There's a good chance of that. So it's not 100% out of reach, but at this point, it could be close. At the best for Republicans, Minnesota will be close. At the best, it will be close. But at the best, it won't even go to the Republicans. At the best, it'll just be close, but a slight win for the Democrats. So, at best, it can be close, but in reality, it's going to be pretty comfortable. There's no point in campaigning for any Republican candidate in Minnesota. Now, Wisconsin, honestly, Wisconsin is kind of 50-50 split. I think Joe Biden overall, they know how he's done being. Voters were very split in Wisconsin in 2020, and whoever voted for Joe Biden, some voters, a lot of them who voted for Joe Biden in 2020 in Wisconsin, uh, uh, honestly didn't even want to vote for neither of them. They were very split. They were very close. It was hard for them to determine who they wanted to pick, and it was very close and went down to the wire. And I think some of those voters who picked Biden in a very unconfident way will go back to Trump, because now they know how he's been doing as president overall with all issues. With the Taliban issue, horrible. Immigration issue, horrible. Honestly, anything, horrible. So now Wisconsin, Donald Trump, I would say, has the slight advantage in Wisconsin. Just slightly. Just by slightly. And Michigan. Michigan, the Democrats overall have better advantages. Republicans, I don't even think they have any advantages in Michigan. Michigan, Detroit has shifted left. Oh yeah, one advantage Republicans do have in Michigan is just, the rise in crime. That's one they can really tackle on the issue. But is it really worth of wasting your time on one issue? I don't think so. Michigan, honestly, is kind of pretty much a Democratic state. You can call it a Democratic state. It's not really. It's very well as a battleground state, but honestly, Detroit has shifted to the left. Some of these counties have shifted to the left. So Democrats have a slight advantage in Michigan. Republicans also have an advantage, but Democrats have the better advantages. And now, I forgot. Minnesota, I forgot to fill that in. And now Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania, I think Donald Trump has a slight advantage. I think personally, Joe Biden banning fracking, or not banning fracking, sorry. I don't think he banned fracking yet. Joe Biden canceling the Keystone Pipeline killed thousands and thousands of jobs, which gives Donald Trump the momentum. Because canceling the Keystone Pipeline killed thousands of jobs, and it made people quit their jobs, and now they're not even going to work. There's a lot of workers in Pennsylvania, they had to quit their jobs because Joe Biden canceled the Keystone Pipeline, and they're not getting sent to work. And I mentioned this in my 2024 election prediction, which gives Republicans the advantage because people obviously need jobs in Pennsylvania, and Joe Biden took thousands and thousands away of jobs. And workers are not going to forget about that, which gives Donald Trump the advantage. So basically, I covered up. We've got done the southern states and the Rust Belt states. So overall, with the southern states, Donald Trump has the advantage in the South. And in the Rust Belt states, it is kind of 50-50 split. They both, Donald Trump and Joe Biden, have good, reasonable advantages. So they're both doing good. Joe Biden and Donald Trump both doing good in Rust Belt. It's 50-50 split. Donald Trump has advantages in 2 states, while Joe Biden has advantages in 2 states as well. So it's going to be close. But Donald Trump has advantages in the states that matter more than Minnesota. Because Donald Trump, Wisconsin, matters more than Minnesota. And Donald Trump has the advantage in there. Same with Pennsylvania. It matters more than Minnesota. Michigan, it's just like Wisconsin and Pennsylvania, but it's 2-1. So, it's 50-50 like I said. But if I had to pick one, Donald Trump would have the slight advantage overall in Rust Belt states, because the states that he has the advantages in matter more than the states that Joe Biden have the advantages in. Even though they're 2-2, the states that Donald Trump have their advantages matter more. Now moving on to the final states, the eastern states. States like North Carolina and Georgia. Georgia, not really an eastern state. Maybe like a southeast state. But, it still has east in it. So, Georgia, North Carolina, just, the east states. I think we're only going to go over Georgia and North Carolina. So, just 2 states left. North Carolina is a weird state. I don't think it's not really going in anyone's direction. If it was to, it would go left, I would say. Maybe, I'm not really sure. North Carolina is kind of just going to stay the same like as of 2020. I can see Democrats doing better in the suburban, rural areas. Yeah, Democrats definitely will do better in the rural areas. And Republicans for sure don't have any advantages. That's for sure. Democrats, I don't think they really do. You're probably thinking I'm crazy. Yeah, the Democrats definitely do have advantages. Maybe in the rural areas. Republicans, I don't find any advantage. So in North Carolina, it's going to be very close. Democrats, I would say, kind of has a slight more advantages. And by the way, in the states that I have advantages going either to the right or the left, or Donald Trump or Joe Biden, does not quite mean that I have it going to, So basically, I don't even know what I just said. Basically, I just said North Carolina, Democrats have advantages in North Carolina. Does not mean I have it going to the Democrats. It's shifting left. Does not mean it's going to go to them. Just so you guys know. And same with Wisconsin. Wisconsin shifting to the right does not mean I have it going to the Republicans. It's just shifting. You know what I mean? So, this is not my prediction on the 2024 election, by the way. Just a disclaimer. And now, Georgia, last state. Georgia, definitely shifting to the left. Definitely. Well, yeah, obviously, it's going to shift to the left because of the, Black African American turnout. Stacey Abrams got a lot of them to turn out. That's the main reason why Joe Biden won. And same with BLM in 2020. So Democrats have the slight advantage in Georgia. Republicans, I can't really think of an advantage. Maybe Herschel Walker helping Donald Trump is an advantage. But Donald Trump basically helped Herschel Walker. It's the opposite. So I'm not really sure. Georgia's close. Same with North Carolina. So there you guys go. These are my advantages. And I don't want you guys to forget about the title. I think, overall, if Joe Biden never became president, if Donald Trump defeated Joe Biden, then Democrats would be in a better position. Because they wouldn't see how bad Joe Biden would do. They would just think about Donald Trump and how, Donald Trump did bad. But now they've seen Joe Biden, it's all about the Democrats looking so bad. So yeah, do you guys agree with me? With the Taliban issue, if you compare Donald Trump with Joe Biden on how he handled the Afghanistan issue, and if you take a look how many soldiers died with Trump, no soldiers died, not one soldier. Trump made agreements, and Trump is good with foreign policy. He made agreements in Afghanistan that no soldier would be killed. And guess what? In 4 years, no soldier was killed in Afghanistan with the Trump administration. But with the Biden administration, not even in 4 years, just in 7 months, people were killed. Soldiers were injured. And I think I just spit. Sorry about that. I don't know if you guys saw that. But yeah, just compare the two. Who's better? You decide. So it's up to you. I already know who's better. And with immigration, honestly, I don't even want to get into all this. You guys already know the deal. So overall, out of all these states we filled out, who has more advantages? Well, if you take a look, Minnesota, Biden has the main advantage in there. That's one state. Michigan, one state. North Carolina, one state. Georgia, one state. So that's 4 states that Joe Biden has advantages in, which are the important states, one of the most important states. And with Arizona, Donald Trump had the advantage in there. So my right hand is the Joe Biden advantages, and my left hand is the Donald Trump advantages. So Texas is another advantage for Trump. Florida, another advantage. Pennsylvania, another advantage. I kind of want to take off Florida. That's kind of already far from Biden. Florida is kind of out of reach for Biden. I'm going to take that one off. Pennsylvania, another advantage for Trump. Wisconsin. So overall, Joe Biden has 4 key advantages and Donald Trump has 5 for 2024. So do you guys agree with me? Let me know in the comment section down below. Let me know your thoughts and opinions. That's pretty much it. Goodbye, everyone.